Mthethwa.
Thank you, Chair. As I did indicate that we might need more grace for this one. Indeed, we need it.
Agree with you.
Honestly, I concur with the members when they say that we can't be listening to a verbal presentation of financials. And 2 years later, we still are waiting for audited financials. I was part of the 6th Parliament in this committee. We waited and waited for the financials that never came. But I want to draw the attention to Deputy Minister that your department yet again is found wanting to even allow Netball SA to come and present in front of us without you knowing the financials. I don't understand how that happens. I really don't understand how that can happen, that you allow Netball SA and Netball World Cup to come and present without financials that you haven't adopted, you haven't seen, you haven't even seen the audited version of it. It's a wasteful expenditure that we have come for here, Chair. Honestly. That also goes to Sascoc. Again, we are saying Sascoc is sleeping on the job. Because you can hear even the responses from the president of Sascoc. He doesn't know. He's not ashamed to say he doesn't know. Yet it is the governing body that looks after these federations. First point of report must be to Sascoc before it even goes to the department, and department to us. But there's so much disjuncture. Let me not waste the time elaborating on that. The acting chairperson of, or the members, the board members, you indicated that you have gone through the IOD training, Institute of Directors, and you should be quite familiar with the concept that says you are severally and jointly liable. Whatever happens with the president, you might be liable, because some of these things have been happening in your presence. Having said that, would you regard the selection process of coaches and players as independent and without president's interference at Netball SA? Maybe the director of coaches, who's the director of coaches, can respond to that. If you do have that independency in selecting, and if that's so, why you haven't announced the teams that will be playing currently? What is the what is the reason for that?
Thank you. Let me indicate we have director selection. We have director coaches. Selection is responsible for the players. Director coaches is responsible for the coaches. And we have director demarcation responsible for policies, constitutions, and everything. And me stepping in for the president, I'm responsible for overall activities in netball, and the CEO is the accounting officer. So in terms of selection, may I request that director selection respond on that, because it's her responsibility, and then director coaches will elaborate on the appointment of coaches. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I'm not sure which team are you talking about, because we have our SBA Proteas, a team has been active, and the under 21s, we have 25 players that are going to participate in the TNL, and then been cutting down to 15, preparing for the World Youth Games. So I'm not sure about your question. Which team are you referring to?
I'm talking about the Telecom Netball League squads that will be playing. Why have they not been announced if that process is independent?
Okay, now I get you. All the team were approved. You know, the process of the TNL is that all the provinces are given a chance to do their trials as provinces. And then I have to be, guide them and monitor them. And then after that, we take the list. They're selecting 16 players per team. So those provinces with the two teams, sorry.
Just lean back.
Okay. So those provinces with the two teams, they select in the initial stage, they select 16 players, being 12 plus 4 non-travelers. The non-travelers are players that being non-travelers in case in the 12 there's players that get injured or whatever happened during the games, then they go back to the non-travelers. But then the players, once they got selected, we took all the list and then we take it to the office to check their membership, to check that they are good standing with Netball South Africa, as well their district and their provinces. So with all that process, it takes some time sometimes, because when you find that some of the players amongst the team, they are not in good standing, then we have to intervene there and with their provinces. But at this moment, all the teams are being approved, and we already told most of the provinces, and even the kits and the turkeys and everything is being delivered. So all the teams are being approved. But then we were still doing that process, is the one that I mentioned. So if there are provinces that they haven't received their teams as yet, it might be maybe there was problems with the players. Thank you.
Okay, let me remind you that as members of parliament, we are commissioners of oath. And when you respond to our questions, you like somebody who is under oath. As I indicated, that you're severally and liably responsible. I asked the question, what has delayed you in terms of the interference that is alleged to be from the president, which is one of the issues that has led to many complaints about the president. Is there any interference? Having said that, what has resulted in you disbanding Gauteng province and KZN? What are the issues? Why have you disbanded GP? Why have you suspended GP and KZN?
Director demarcation. Yes, thank you, sir. Director demarcation, like I indicated, she's dealing with constitution, structures, and policies. She is responsible for that. She will take you through the process that was taken to arrive to that decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Okay, with regards to KZN, KZN was not disbanded. They were not disbanded at all. Gauteng, we called about 4 meetings with them for them to come, and because we wanted to mediate between, because we tried, because there was complaints that came through from the districts within Gauteng that came through to us. And we called a meeting with all the members. The first time they didn't pitch, the second, the third they didn't pitch, the fourth time, when we called them to present their audited financial statements as well as all their structural information, they could not present anything to us. And eventually when they did, we also came across and there was like some irregularities that we picked up in terms of financial issues, and also with regards to certain complaints that we had, and we in terms of the finances that came from the department, Gauteng Department of Sport to Gauteng structure. That was also it was given to the CEO to have a look at, to take it to somebody to have a look at in terms of the finances, and it was also reported that there was mismanagement of funds, and we then also tried. Now, currently, we've been trying to mediate, to have a mediation between them, between Netball South Africa and them as well. And then we received a letter from one of the members, the former chairperson, who took us to the High Court for that, because she disputed it. And we also had there was other members, so it's part of the board, not the entire board, who signed, put in an affidavit, who had an affidavit as part of that. And then closely to the time, when the mediation process was supposed to take place, they had about 2 lawyers. This is now the 3rd lawyer that they had. We again requested for mediation process. They didn't want to. So I don't know. I think the CEO would probably be able to in terms of the mediation process. I'm not so sure about where the mediation process is now, because I know that there was another one called for them for the 3rd time to see how we can resolve this matter.
All right. Thank you. Chair DG wants to.
Oh, Dr. Khumalo, the president of Sascoc indicated he wanted to say, or should I pass you?
No. It's important for me to say this. I appreciate what you said, Honourable Member. Sascoc at this stage is not responsible either by the Sports and Recreation Act or its own constitution or the National Sports and Recreation Plan to get involved with international projects run by international bodies. So Sascoc was never involved, even from the onset. The only point that Sascoc got involved was at the bidding and hosting, whether they wanted to host the project in South Africa, and we sanctioned it through that particular project. So if there's a understanding that we must be part of this in future, I think that is something that we can really take forward with and see how. But it's very difficult because out of 85 federations, each of them wanting to run and host a world event, Sascoc is going to find itself inundated with trying to manage that process.
Thank you. Dr. Khumalo?
No, thank you very much, Chair. I also wanted just to come in terms of what Honourable Member Mthethwa was saying regarding the reports. Indeed, perhaps let's separate the report, because there is a Netball SA report that was tabled, as was indicated also in our presentation. We are aware of the use of the monies as per the report that we had tabled through the Chief Director here. So that part of the report we are fine with. We have indicated, Chair, that in terms of the Netball World Cup report, the closeout report we haven't seen. It's not been presented to us. However, we have received explanation as what caused the delay. And we had to allow that particular process, which was first disputes around the issues of the staff and later the unavailable equipment that had been taken away, I think, by the staff, the same staff that the Netball World Cup Committee was actually talking about. However, Chair, I also wanted just to indicate to the members that in terms of what the Chief Director, and I know he didn't make a presentation, Mr. Linden sat in the committee by virtue of him being a Chief Director in the Provincial Sport, Arts and Culture Department, because as indicated also by our own Chief Director sitting next to me, the money came from us to Western Cape, the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, as part of the conditional grant. And as he has indicated, the first and the second tranche reports were received by the department in line with the conditional grant reporting. But what we were saying we have not received is a closeout report that talks to the utilization of the entire 90 million. So you would also note, Chairperson, that in the email or the documents that the Netball World Cup Committee had forwarded to yourselves, they had included these annual financial statements, but going up to 2023, as has been indicated. And it doesn't cover the period when the actual World Cup took place, which was July 2023, because of the 23-24 audit not having been finalized. So that's just the clarity. I do note the fact that we perhaps, Chairperson, should have indicated that the presentation that comes to yourselves should not talk to the closeout report, having not gone through the department. However, I just wanted to explain how and what we have been receiving in the interim. Hence, our saying we do not have the comprehensive report because we don't have full audited reports, only 1 and 2, or first and second tranches as part of the conditional grant.
Thank you, Doc. That is our concern. But I'm having a solution for this. And that's why I ask, where is the LOC members to a greater extent? People are sitting here and it seems to me that people are lying under oath. To a greater extent, we are going to interrogate this issue as to whether there was anything from what is she called, who was the tournament director, whether anything has been sent by them. That's why I was asking about the CFO. They must also be gathered into a room to give their part of the story. So we are going to get to the crux of this matter. Proceed, Honorable Mthethwa.